Hey guys, what is going on? Anthony here with Pistons Talk. Hope you guys are having a great day. In today's video, we are doing another subscriber requested video. This one comes in from Dominique, and he wanted to make a concept video on what he think might happen this offseason for either a Josh Jackson trade or a sign and trade with Diallo. I don't think we can keep both of them. Now, this is very interesting. This isn't the first time I've seen this. A lot of people thought that as soon as we traded for Diallo, we were going to get rid of Josh Jackson. Now, I think the Pistons are going to do everything they can to re-sign Hamdiou Diallo because I think Troy Weaver really likes him. He drafted him in OKC, and he sees potential in this kid. As for Josh Jackson, he does have value, but the problem I found with this when I went over to, the trade machine is Josh Jackson does not make a whole lot. So a lot of trades that I did try to get through on the trade machine, they wouldn't go through because he doesn't make enough. Salary cap issues with the Pistons and other team sides. I found two trades. Now, one of them I think would benefit both sides, and the other trade I think would kind of be one-sided, catered towards the Pistons. So let's play devil's advocate for a minute or so. So the first trade I came up with was the Detroit Pistons would send Josh Jackson to the Washington Wizards in exchange for center Daniel Gafford. And the Pistons would send over Josh Jackson and a second-round pick that we did get from the Corey Joseph trade. Now, to me, I think this helps both sides. One, the Wizards get that forward that they so desperately need, a forward that can play defense, slash to the basket, and, help them. Because right now, the Wizards need defense, and I think Josh Jackson can provide that next to Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook. For the Pistons side, I think, we have Mason Plumlee and Isaiah Stewart playing the center position right now. Adding Daniel Gafford could be an insurance policy, and I think, if the Pistons want to move on from Mason Plumlee, you could have an Isaiah Stewart and a Daniel Gafford center pairing. Now, whether the Pistons want to move on from Mason Plumlee, that's going to be up to Troy Weaver, but I really like Daniel Gafford. I think he's very underrated, and if you did watch the playoffs this year, when Washington was in it before they did get bounced, Daniel Gafford is a very high-energy guy. I vividly remember him just dunking on the Pistons like crazy when we did play them. He's a guy that is very underrated, and I think the Pistons would like him. Now, the second trade I did come up with, now this is one-sided to me personally. You may think it's a fair trade. The Pistons would send Josh Jackson to the Pacers, and the Pistons would get TJ Warren. Now, TJ Warren is on an expensive deal, probably $1 more million than Josh Jackson is, and he's under contract for the next 2 seasons. He is 27, so he's a little bit older. Now, to me, TJ Warren is very similar to Josh Jackson in a sense where he can play the guard or the forward positions. I think he can play small forward. I don't think you can put him at power forward. I think he's too small, but this would give the Pistons more of an offense out of that position of either you want to put him at shooting guard or you want to put him at small forward. I think he's another player that is very underrated. Don't know what the Pacers would do it, though. I have no idea what the Pacers are going to do with firing their head coach. There are reports that Warren wanted out, so hey, that could be an under-the-radar type of trade for Detroit. Now, I did play devil's advocate. Now, I want to assure you why I think you don't really necessarily have to move on from Josh Jackson or Hamdiou Diallo, okay? Now, if we look at both of their contracts, we'll look at Josh Jackson's first. Let me put it on the screen for you guys. Like I said, he's set to make $5 million, so I had a really hard time, finding trades that would actually go through. I think there's a lot of value for him at $5 million, personally. He can play, 2 through 4, in my opinion. He brings defense, and, some games he just goes off. Some games he can't miss from 3. Very aggressive, and I think that's what Troy Weaver likes about him, and that's why he signed him to a 2-year deal. Now, if we do look at Hamdiou Diallo, the Pistons can't offer him a qualifying offer for $2 million, but I don't think he'll probably take that. There have been reports of him possibly getting $10 million per year, and I think that's why Dominique said, I could see a sign and trade situation because I don't think we can keep them both. But this is what I want to put on the screen for you guys and break down with cap space situation, okay? So if we look at the 2021-2022 season, there are some players on this list that we can say, hey, we can save money if we do this. So the first player when you look at this list is Corey Joseph, okay? Now, I've talked about Corey Joseph on this channel before. If you guys haven't seen the video, I will leave a link in the description of how the Pistons can actually save money by letting Corey Joseph go. Now, he has a $12.6 million contract. That is not fully guaranteed, you guys. If the Pistons let Corey Joseph go by a certain date, he's only guaranteed $2.4 million. So that's $10 million the Pistons can save if they decide to let Corey Joseph go. It's one player on this list. The next player is Dennis Smith Jr. Now, do the Pistons bring him back for 7.7? Me personally, I wouldn't. I don't really see the value of bringing DSJ back for $7.7 million. I know I've seen people saying, well, what if, we don't offer him that 7 and, sign him for a veteran's minimum? I still don't really see the value there. I think that, there are players that maybe you give Saban Lee that opportunity, right? Maybe, you can find someone in free agency. It's nothing against Dennis Smith Jr. I just don't really like the team fit here in Detroit. I think he'll probably get signed somewhere else, maybe on another team that can utilize him more, because we have such a logjam right now at point guard with Killian being your point guard. And, you could possibly draft another point guard in the lottery. So where does that leave Dennis Smith Jr.? You got to think about that. So that is another $7.7 million the Pistons can save. Ronnie Magruder is just like Corey Joseph. If you waive him by a certain date, you don't have to pay him that $5 million. It's non-guaranteed. And then when you look down, Zan Musa and Wayne Ellington are coming off your books. So that's even more money that the Pistons can save. So, Dominique, to answer your question, I don't necessarily think you have to trade Josh Jackson or do a sign and trade with Hamdiou Diallo. I think the Pistons are going to do everything in their power to re-sign him because he's a very young player that can play the guard position and some forward position. Defensively, you like his game. Offensively, if he gets a jump shot, he's going to be a starter on any team because he just brings an aggressiveness. And same with Josh Jackson. But thank you for this video, Dominique. It was fun for me to make. Let me know if you guys have any other videos you want me to make. I will make them for you. But like always, I hope you guys are staying safe. Take care. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.